Hey everybody, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small, and today we're going to be looking at Star Wars X-Wing Wave 9. That's right, Wave 9 has finally arrived. This particular video, we're going to be unboxing and taking a look at the new ARC170. So it's a ARC170 fighter for the Rebel faction. So we're going to go ahead and bust it open and take a look at the contents and show you what you get. Before we open it, just to note, this goes for 20 bucks US retail, so it's a little bit more than your standard ship, like an X-Wing or TIE fighter. So it's more of a mid-sized ship, whereas your TIE fighter, slightly smaller package for 15 US. So we're getting a little bit more bang for our buck, hopefully, here. All right, so let's go ahead and open it. These packages are notorious for being annoying to open. I like to use kitchen shears, and it makes quick work of this package. And as I've mentioned in other unboxing videos, you can actually use this back panel as a paint tray for other hobby projects. That makes a pretty decent paint tray. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pull this out. So we have the back sleeve. This has our table of contents. We get 14 cards, 18 tokens, 1 maneuver dial, 1 painted plastic ship with base and pegs. We have 1 Ziploc bag with all of our tokens, cards, pilot cards, and upgrade cards. Back panel. And the model itself. Ooh. And it's escaping. And we'll take a closer look at this model here after we look at the cards, but just to give you a quick look at what you're getting. Very cool, weathered, beaten up ARC170 with Rebel markings. So it's not a clone era version of the ARC170. This is a Rebel Alliance ARC170. So kind of the way of getting around not having prequel ships, but yeah, we have a prequel ship. So very cool design, the flying asterisks. So again, we'll take a little bit closer look at that, but next we're gonna take a look at the cards. All right, so first up in the Ziploc bag, we're looking at the cardboard token sheet. So you have 2 sheets with appropriate target locks, shields, counters, pilot cards, and the maneuver dial. So this is probably of interest to a lot of folks out there. So just taking a quick glance at it, doesn't look half bad. There's a lot of greens at 1 or 2, and all of our speed 4s are reds. That's tough. All right, so now let's look at our cards. First up, we've got our pilot cards, and there are 4 of them. There is, we'll start with the lowest ability guy first. We have Braylon Stram. So he is a pilot skill 3, and he is, after you execute a maneuver, you may roll an attack die. On a hit or a crit result, remove 1 stress token from your ship. Very cool. 25 points. And here we get the first look at our stats for the ARC170. We've got 2 attack, 1 defense, 6 hull, and 3 shields. And it has a torpedo, looks like a crew, and an R2 slot. So I'm not sure for the Rebel faction if this is the first ship that has R2 and crew. I think it might be, though. So that opens up some very interesting combos. Stat-wise, I don't know, that looks a little bit weaker than a B-Wing. The 2 attack is might be problematic. Next up, we have Thane Kyrell. He's a pilot skill 4. After an enemy ship inside your firing arc at range 1 to 3 attacks another friendly ship, you may perform a free action. So looks like a squadron or teammate inspired ability. Same stats, same crew slots. Next up we have Pilot Skill 6, Shara Bay. When another friendly ship at range 1 to 2 is attacking, it may treat your blue target lock token as its own. So that's kind of cool. She does come with an elite pilot talent, so you'll see that down here, and she's the first of the pilots that has that. So pretty sweet. And then last we have Nora Wexley, and she's pilot skill 7, so that's the highest pilot skill for the ARC170. When attacking or defending, you may spend a target lock you have on the enemy ship to add 1 focus result to your roll. Alright, so here are the 4 pilots that come in the set. Thing to note, they go from pilot skill 3 to pilot skill 7, and that they are all named pilots. So there's no generics with the ARC170, which is a very interesting choice. I think that might be the first time we've seen that. If it's not, go ahead and leave a comment below, but off the top of my head, it's the first time I've seen no generics with a ship. So for example, you can't take 4 25-point pilot skill 3 ARC170s. It's a unique pilot, so you can only take 1 of them. So at most you could have 4 ARC170s. So that's an interesting design choice and sale choice too. You're not going to buy more than 3 or 4 and never more than that. So there you go though, that's the pilot cards. Let's take a look at the upgrade cards next. Just to note that the ARC170 also has an auxiliary firing arc, kind of like the Slave 1. So it's got a rear tail gunner, and this represents that. Basically it gives you a rear arc where you can make a primary weapon attack out to ranges 1 to 3. So it comes with an auxiliary firing arc card. Okay, so here are the upgrade cards. Recon Specialist, that's been around for a while. Nothing new here. You get 1 of these in the pack. You probably, if you're an X-Wing player like me, already have a bazillion of these things. Then we have the R3 Astromech, and we have 2 copies of this card. And it says, once per round when attacking with a primary weapon, you may cancel 1 of your focus results during the modify attack dice step to assign 1 evade token to your ship. So basically sacrificing attack potential to give yourself an evade. So interesting. And you get 2 of those. Then we have this tail gunner card. When attacking from your rear facing auxiliary firing arc, reduce the defender's agility by 1 to a minimum of 0. So that's very interesting for the high agility fighters that you might be facing. So the ARC170 is better shooting at TIE fighters or practically anything out of its rear arc. So this is a 2-point crew upgrade. So very interesting. So next up we have a seismic torpedo. So I think this is new for this wave. If it's not, go ahead and correct me down in the comments. The seismic torpedo action, discard this card to choose an obstacle at range 1 to 2 and inside your primary firing arc. Each ship at range 1 of the obstacle rolls 1 attack die and suffers any hits or critical damage rolled, then remove the obstacle. So this lets you destroy asteroids, debris, kind of mimicking episode 2, where the Slave 1 is chasing Obi-Wan through the asteroid field and the seismic torpedoes totally blow up asteroids. Cool scene in an otherwise rather disappointing movie. So there you go, you got a seismic torpedo. You only get 1 of those. Vectored thrusters. So this is a small ship only modification. It's not unique to the ARC170. Your action bar gains the barrel roll action icon for 2 points. Very interesting. So I'm wondering if that's going to be helpful, more helpful for other ships rather than the ARC170. I'm wondering what an X-Wing would look like with this. But Oh, not very nice. We get 2 of those. And normally it seems like when they give you 2 of something, it's meant as a fix or an upgrade for another ship besides the one in the pack. Alliance Overhaul. So this is an ARC170 only title card. And when attacking with a primary weapon from your primary firing arc, you may roll 1 additional attack die. When attacking from your auxiliary firing arc, you may change one of your focus results to a hit result, or a critical result. So very nice. So again, buffing for 0 points, so I don't know why you would ever not take this. Your firepower jumps up from 2 to 3 for the firing in the front, and your rear stays the same. That auxiliary firing arc stays the same. So it's interesting that they just didn't factor this card into this, because you would never not want to take this because it's 0 points and there's no downside to it. So interesting. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments about this card. And then Adrenaline Rush, Tried and True. This has been out since, I don't know, Wave 1, Wave 2. You can discard this card to treat a maneuver as white. So if you do a red maneuver, a barrel, a flip or something, you can discard this card and treat it as a white maneuver. So there you go. Those are all the upgrade cards. You get 9 upgrade cards with the ARC170. And here you go. We're going to take another look at the model. Very, very cool. Now, this is kind of story time here. The ARC-170 obviously was first seen in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And it was a clone ship. It had 3 crew members. It's in the opening spaceship battle montage at the beginning of the movie. It also shows up in Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, I believe, as well as in a lot of books. It is built by NCOM, so it is the same manufacturers that go on to eventually build the X-Wing. So it's got a lot of callback elements, design elements to the X-Wing to act as a precursor. So first off, obviously you've got the engines, you've got the S-foils, you've got 6 of them in this case. You even have the cool red stripe, which we'll see on a lot of X-Wings in the future. On the back, you see that there's the gunner. So it looks like that gunner mount. Let's see if we get that in focus. There's actually 2 gunner mounts, and that's what gives you that auxiliary firing arc. And then you got 2 big whopping cannons on the wings. So although this is obviously marked up and badly weathered and reflecting a Rebel ARC-170, it would be interesting down the road to see a clone version of this, a cleaned up, well maintained version of this ship, just because it's such a cool design. It's one of my favorite designs from the prequel era, and I, for one, am very happy to see it. While I have my issues with the prequel movies, I'm not so one of these, I don't know, rabid fanboys who just detests it because that's cool to do now. So some of these ships I think are pretty cool and deserve a place in X-Wing. And maybe that's why the Alliance Overhaul is a separate card, because without the Alliance Overhaul, these stats are Clone War stats, basically, or that time period. So it's interesting to think about that and what could be opened up. So there you go, guys. That is the ARC-170. What do I think of it? Well, I haven't used it in battle yet, but just looking at the cards, I'm not sure what it'll do. What it does is a pretty competitive slot for the Rebels. I mean, it's an Agility 1 high hull and shield ship, and you've got the Y-Wing, you've got the B-Wing. All right, so do I think you guys should get the ARC-170? Sure. You need at least 1 to have all the cool new cards. Whether you need more than 1, probably not, unless you are just a fanboy of the ARC-170 or the design. But I'd recommend it. It looks cool. It is the only Rebel release in Wave 9 So for you Rebel exclusives, this is your ship. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this review. We're going to be reviewing all 4 releases and releasing those out over the next week so you can check it out. And then hopefully we'll get some games in so you can see them in action. Please let us know what you think of the review, what you think of the ship down below in the comments, and please like our video. Thanks, and keep on wargaming.